The Australian Senate's Legal and Constitutional Affairs Legislation Committee recently held a pivotal hearing on Senator David Schubert's Legalizing Cannabis Bill 2023, introduced last August. This groundbreaking bill proposes allowing Australians to grow up to 6 cannabis plants at home and to establish licensed consumption cafes. Since medical cannabis was legalized in 2016, Australia's approach to non-medical use has been a patchwork of differing state laws. Public opinion is split, with half of the population supporting home cultivation and a notable 54% favoring decriminalization. During the Daylong hearing, a myriad of perspectives was presented by representatives from various organizations, including the Australian Lawyers Alliance and the Australian Medical Association. Greg Barnes, former president of the Australian Lawyers Alliance, pointed out the discrepancy on how alcohol and cannabis are regulated, despite cannabis having a lesser impact on the community. The horse has bolted on this issue, Barnes said, emphasizing the shift from decriminalizing and legalization. The hearing wasn't just about legal aspects. It also focused on mental health concerns and the potential increase in youth cannabis use. Over 200 written testimonies were submitted, highlighting the wide range of opinions on the issue. The Department of Home Affairs raised concerns about the bill, suggesting it could pave the way for legalization of other substances and outlining the operational and funding impacts that would have. Certainly, here's the revised. Contrastingly, the Australian Medical Association remains firm in its opposition to legalization, seemingly overlooking the fact that there's been thousands of years of human testing on cannabis use with a nod to the era of prohibition. Their stance highlights insufficient evidence on the health and social costs and benefits, despite the long history of cannabis consumption worldwide, advocating for the strong law enforcement of criminal penalties for cannabis trafficking and use. They appear to be standing guard at the prohibition party that most of the world has already left. In the business sphere, Melanie Satriam, founder and CEO of Ganjaka Party Ltd., spoke about the challenges faced by entrepreneurs under the current restrictive policies. Her perspective as a young queer person of color brought a unique voice to the discussion. Melanie said, "As a woman, my diversity is championed in the global cannabis community." She continued, however, in stark contrast, my local, state, and federal government instill fear into my work and chokehold my business, preventing me and others from advancing in a rapidly changing marketplace. We are getting left behind. So now let's look into tomorrow for perspective on this. We had Irish Wick joining us, Australia's first official medical cannabis patient to get approval to consume flower in the country. Joining us from Tuesday in Australia. What do you have to say on this, Irish?
Oh man, have you touched a subject here? So we've been in a very, very much in a holding pattern state. I can honestly tell you that Australia is probably one of the highest consumers per capita of cannabis in the world. And it's been so black market and legacy for so long that no one really knows how to even convert over to the medical market to start with. So that's the first problem we have, is actually we're still even trying to break the stigma. So to have the politicians coming forward, that's okay. A lot of it comes from the Greens Party, and our Greens Party are probably the least popular of everyone, even though they are trying to do the right things. Then you have the lawmakers stepping in. It's funny that it's taken us to get to, and if anyone wants to track this, there is our governing body is called the TGA, the Therapeutics Good Administration, and there is a live tracking of patients. And we've currently hit, I think it's about 437,000 patients since 2017. Now, I can see if you do an average maths of each patient getting on average 60 grams a month times 400,000, we're talking, 25,000 tons or something of weed per month. So it makes a lot of sense now why the lawmakers are coming in saying, hey, let's fucking legalize this, because shit, we're bringing in 25, if that's my maths right, someone would have to just check that because it's, 3 in the morning or something, but I think it sounds about like 25,000 tons per month. And then if you do the calculation on that and profit and margin, even if it was 10% or something like that, my God, there's some money in it. So yeah, it will come gonna roll it fast forward because the stoners are coming out of the closet, everyone's smoking it, and the price point. The only difference between us and the rest of the world is we're tight asses here, and we don't like spending money on weed. Never have, and we have demanded that the prices remain cheaper than street price, and we're getting that now. So it's a turning point that we're getting so close to. I just can't wait. I think I know when it's going to happen too.
When do you see it happening? How long are you going to wait?
I believe this is my honest. So, obviously, first and foremost, Australia's traditional owners are the Indigenous Aboriginal people, and they were here long before any lawmakers, and they had this plant long before that. Okay, so at the end of the day, there's a lot of sovereignty, people claiming sovereignty and stuff like that, but the Indigenous landowners will have say because their land, it's their land above Crown land. So, I pray to God that my Aboriginal brothers and sisters go out there and really put their foot down and take control of this market because they're owed it. They're entitled to it for the robbery they've copped from our fucking country, just obliterating them. So if I was guessing, I would say by February next year, we'll have probably 2 or 3 states open for home grow. So right now, just to clarify, we do have one state. Canberra, our capital territory, where all the politicians are, ironically, you can grow 2 plants outdoors, up to 4 plants if there's obviously more than 2 adults over the age of 18. Outdoors, no lights, but every other substance, so obtaining the seeds, obtaining all the other stuff is still illegal. Smoking out of bongs, it's illegal. So whilst they've opened up there, I can see it by February being in another couple of states. I imagine that Western Australia and Brisbane will go next because they're probably the best outside growers outside of, Canberra because they're the only ones who can do it. So, yeah, I reckon by February we'll have 3 states. I reckon by February the following year we'll be moving into a recreational cafe style dispensing, still medically based, I think, but it'll be more open dispensing.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Anything from you, Jason?
Well, yeah. So, Australia down under, and you said that there's one state that is allowing for cultivation, but you're saying that there's a lot of nationals there that have been there, and they have the ability to cultivate their own there. And basically subside the law, similar to like how we have Native Americans on reservations out here and how they're able to create their own laws and be able to kind of police themselves. Now, one of the things that happens with those types of environments is that when you're trying to leave the reservation, so if you were leaving one of these people's homes or their land or whatnot, would you be charged with being on the Crown's land with an illegal drug? Because that happens a lot of time out here. They basically view that as a separate country, almost like a border.
Yes, it's exactly the same thing. So if you were caught, so to clarify, Indigenous aren't the only people who can do it. It's the state in Canberra, anyone can do it.
Okay.
But the Indigenous people, I'm hoping they actually dig their heels and get funding for it and take complete control. But if I was to buy it in Canberra, just say I was just to go to one of the boys' house, he gives me some weed, and I cross back across into New South Wales.
Yep.
And they pulled me over, and I couldn't justify that it was medical. I think over 50 grams, I'd be charged. Yeah.
Over 50 grams.
Yeah.
Over 50
they do
grams.
say, I've read it a few times in the policies, that in Canberra, you can walk around with 50 grams for personal consumption. Got it.
Interesting. So just buy 1.5 ounces at a time.
Yeah. Which is hard, because if you grow 4 plants, I mean, you guys would know the growing side too. If I grew full fem outdoor plants, I mean, I could put 100 pounds. You put 3 pounds off a plant if you needed to. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand how they regulate 50 grams versus 4 plants versus.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do either of Yarrow or Mandy, do you have any questions in regards with this for Irish while we have them, because we got to keep rolling.
No questions, but I think Australia is going to get there faster than we do. This is just what I'm feeling.
Is that
Well,
because
I just hope that they have comprehensive regulations. It sounds like, from what I looked at the article, that the home grow was a little more permissive, and to our guest's point, if your possession amounts don't align with what you're allowed to grow, then you're putting people in this uncomfortable position of having produced more than they're allowed to own. And if they get charged, I don't know where that goes. Hopefully not a kangaroo court.
Oh, I like what you did there, Yarrow. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.